Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, Chapter 5, The Glories of Lord Nityananda Balram, Text 67 onwards. Aganya Anantayat Anda Sannivesha Tattarupe Purusha Kare Sabhate Prakasha. The Purusha enters each and every one of the countless universes. He manifests himself in as many separate forms as there are universes. Purushana Satyave Bahiraya Swasa Nishvasa Sahite Haye Brahmanda Prakasha. When the Purusha exhales, the universes are manifested with each outward breath. Punarapi Shvashayave Praveshayantare Shvasa Saha Brahmanda Paishe Purusha Sharire. Thereafter, when he inhales, all the universes again enter his body. In his form as Karnodaksha Vishnu, the Lord impregnates the material nature by his glands. The transcendental molecule of that glands are particles of spirit, or spiritual atoms, which appear in different species of life according to the seeds of their individual karma from the previous cosmic manifestation. And the Lord himself, by his partial representation, creates a body of innumerable universes, and again enters each of those universes as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. His coming in contact with Maya is explained in the Bhagavad Gita by a comparison between air and sky. The sky enters everything material, yet it is far away from us. So, similarly, the Lord enters every universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu, but he's still so far away. Gavakshera Randhrayena Trashrenu Chale Purushera Loma Kupe Brahmandera Jale. Just as atomic particles of dust pass through the openings of a window, so the networks of universes pass through the pores of the skin of the Purusha. So we can't even imagine how big Mahavishnu is. Universes are passing through the pores of the skin of the Purusha. Yaseka Nishvasita Kalam Athavalambya Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagadandanatha Vishnur Mahan Sahya Yasya Kala Visheshu Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami. The Brahmas and other lords of the mundane worlds appear from the pores of Mahavishnu and remain alive for the duration of his one exhalation. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whom Mahavishnu is a portion of a plenary portion. This description of Lord's creative energy is from the Brahma Samhita, which Lord Brahma compiled after his personal realization. When Mahavishnu exhales, the spiritual seeds of the universes emanate from him in the form of molecular particles like those that are visible, 3 times the size of an atom, and sunlight is diffused through a small hole. So in the form of molecular particle that we can see, and it is called Trish Renu or Tri Renu. I just want to, it's mentioned here. Jagadandanatha. Yeah, so three atoms, when they're joined together, that we can see. And that is a particle that goes through the if there is a little window opening, when the sun rays goes through that, then we can see some particles in that sun ray. So the universes are like that coming out of the body of Mahavishnu. In these days of atomic research, it will be a worthwhile engagement for atomic scientists to learn from this statement how the entire creation develops from the spiritual atoms emanating from the body of the Lord. Kwaham tamo mahad aham kha charagni varabhu samvishetananda ghat sapta vitasti kaya. Kvidrig vidha viganati tanda paranucharya vatadva roma vivrasya chate mahitvam. Where am I, a small creature, measuring 7 spans of my own hand? I'm enclosed in the universe composed of material nature, the total material energy, false ego, ether, air, fire, water, and earth. And what is your glory? Unlimited universes pass through the pores of your body, just like particles of dust passing through the opening of a window. So, this is Brahmaji speaking to Lord Krishna. And this is Brahmaji speaking. What is our position? Nothing, actually. When Lord Brahma, after having stolen all Krishna's calves and cowherd boys, returned and saw that the calves and boys were still roaming with Krishna, he offered his prayer in his defeat. A conditioned soul, even one so great as Brahma, who manages the affairs of the entire universe, cannot compare to the personality of Godhead. For he can produce numberless universes simply by the spiritual rays emanating from the pores of his body. Material scientists should take lessons from the utterances of Sri Brahma regarding our insignificance in comparison to God. In these prayers of Brahma, there is much to learn for those who are falsely puffed up by the accumulation of power. There's much to learn. This is what Brahmaji is saying. And Brahmaji is the first and the best person in the universe. And who are we? In fact, there is a very nice incident that happened between Prabhupada and Tamal Krish Maharaj. So Tamal Krish Maharaj, although you guys never met him, but he was very special disciple of Prabhupada and very authoritative, he would assume any leading position, any service. So when somebody is a leader and authoritative, but in a voluntary organization or charitable organization, then problems are bound to happen. And that too in the beginning days when we were not that advanced. So devotees complained to Prabhupada. And then that day when Prabhupada was in LA, Los Angeles, Maharaj was there also, and Prabhupada called him. And that time he wasn't sannyasi, he was a brahmachari. So Prabhupada called him, and Prabhupada was very seriously explaining all this philosophy of, especially of creation. And he said, all these universes come out of the body of Mahavishnu. And Mahavishnu is plenary expansion of Krishna. And within each universe, Mahavishnu enters and fills half the universe. I have that anda with the water coming from his pores of the body. And then he lies down on that ocean, Garbhodak ocean. And from his navel, lotus flowers comes out. Brahmaji appears. Brahmaji does tapasya and does the creation, makes 14 planetary systems. And in every planetary system, there are millions of planets. And out of those millions of planets, there is one planet called Earth. And Tamal Kishmara said he was getting excited. See how Prabhupada is explaining to him everything. And on this, out of millions and millions of universes, or one universe, and in the one universe, there are millions of planets. And everything is going on according to Krishna's will. And not even directly he is willing, is getting it done through his energies. And on one planet, Earth, out of those millions of planets, there are so many countries. And out of so many countries, now there are 180 countries. There's one country called United States of America. And in USA, there are so many big and small cities. And out of all those cities, there is one city called Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, there are thousands of streets. And on one street, that was Watseka Avenue, where we have our temple. And on this street, there are so many houses and other buildings. And we have one building on this street where we have our temple, Rukmini Dwarkadish temple. And in this temple also, there are so many rooms. It's just not just one or two rooms, there's so many rooms. And in one of those rooms, now Prabhupada is coming, that me and Tamal Krishnadas are sitting. And sitting in one of those rooms, Tamal Krishnadas thinks he controls the whole universe. He's a controller of everything. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, that really pinpricked my ego, my balloon, and I just paid obeisances and kind of crawled out of the room. This is our situation, actually. We also think we are the control. Everything should happen according to my desires, my expectations. And actually, they will never happen according to our desires, never. Maybe once in a while, but not even to the extent we want it to happen. And we think we control the universe. We control everything. This is our position. And this is what Brahmaji is praying, because he understood his position, but we don't understand our position. Anshera Anshaye Kalataranam Govindera Prati Murti Shri Balaram. A part of a whole is called Kala. Shri Balram is the counter form of Lord Govinda. Pratimurti, counter form. So he is actually non-different from Krishna or Govinda. Only difference is in the color of the body. Tar ek swarupa Shri Mahasankarshan, tar ansha purusha hai kalate ganam. Balram's own expansion is called Mahasankarshan, and his fragment, the Purusha, is counted as a kala or a part of a plenary portion. So, kala, and then there is ansha. The two words are there. And then there is expansion. So Balramji's own expansion is called Mahasankarshan. That is the first Chaturvyu Sankarshan. And his fragment, Purusha, is counted as a Kala. Kala means a part of plenary portion. Yaha kirta kala kahi teno Mahavishnu, Mahapurusha avatari teno sarva Jishnu. I say that this Kala is Mahavishnu. He is a Mahapurusha, who is the source of the other Purushas and is all pervading. So from Mahapurusha, source of other Purushas, means because he expands himself and enters each and every universe as Garbhadaksha Vishnu. And then Garbhadaksha Vishnu then expands himself as Kshirodaksha Vishnu. So the source is only one, Mahavishnu. Garbhodak, Kshirodak, Shayi, Doi, Purushanam, Sei, Dui, Yara, Ansha, Vishnu, Vishwadham. Garbhodashai and Kshirodashai are both called Purushas. They are plenary portions of Karanodashai Vishnu, the first Purusha, whose abode of all the universes. The symptoms of the Purusha are described in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita. While describing the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the author has quoted from the Vishnu Puran, where it is said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Purushottam, Lord Krishna, who is always free from the contamination of the six material dualities, whose plenary expansion, Mahavishnu, glances over matter to create the cosmic manifestation, who expands himself in various transcendental forms, all of which are one and the same, and who is the master of all living entities, who is always free and liberated from the contamination of material energy, and who, when he appears in this material world, seems one of us, although he has an eternally spiritual, blissful, transcendental." So this is the position of Mahavishnu. In summarizing this statement, Rupa Goswami has concluded that the plenary expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who acts in cooperation with the material energy, is called the Purusha, who acts in cooperation with the material energy. He doesn't come under the control of material energy, he doesn't come in contact with the material energy, but he has to, this is his service. To work in cooperation with the material energy. That's why it's called Purusha. Vishnustu trini rupani purushakyani atho vidu ekam tu mahata srishtir dvitiyam tva anda samstitam tritiyam sarva bhutastam tani gyatva vimuchyate. Vishnu has three forms called Purushas. The first, Mahavishnu, is the creator of the total material energy, Mahat Tattva. The second is Garbhodashai Vishnu, who is situated within each universe. And the third is Kshirodashai Vishnu, who lives in the heart of every living being. He who knows these three becomes liberated from the clutches of Maya. And this is what comes from Satvat Tantra, quoted by Rupa Goswami in Laghu Bhagavatamrita. Yadyapi kayetare Krishnera kalakari Matsya kurma di avatare ratinot avatari. Although Karnodashai Vishnu is called the Kala of Lord Krishna, he is the source of Matsya, Kurma and the other incarnation. He is the source of Matsya, Kurma and other incarnations. Okay. But ete chanchakala punsa Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam Indradi Vyakulam Lokam Mridyanti Yuge. All these incarnations of Godhead are either plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions of the Purusha avatars. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In every age, he protects the world through its different features when the world is disturbed by enemies of Indra. So, all these incarnations, because before this shloka, Shukdev Goswami had described different incarnations. But then he finally said, but all these incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Shri Krishna is the original. So, Swayam, Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. That's Krishna's position. Sei Purusha Srishti Sthiti Pralayara Karata Nana Avatara Kare Jagatera Bharta. That Purusha, Karanadaksha Vishnu, is the performer of creation, maintenance, and destruction. He manifests himself in many incarnations, for he is the maintainer of the world. So he manifests himself in many, but but he is expansion of Lord Krishna. Srishti Adi Nimitte Ye Anshera Avadhan Saita Anshere Kahe Avataranam. That fragment of the Supreme Lord, known as Mahapurusha, appears for the purpose of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, and is called an incarnation. Adi Avatar Mahapurusha Bhagavan Sarva Avatar Bija Sarvashraya Dham. That Mahapurusha is identical with this personality of Godhead. His original incarnation, the seed of all others, and the shelter of everything. Adya Avatara Purusha Parasya Kala Subhava Shadasan Manascha Dravyam Vikaro Gun Indriyani Virata Swarata Sthanu Charishnu Gomna. The Purusha Mahavishnu is a primary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Time, nature, prakriti as cause and effect, the mind, the material elements, false ego, and the modes of nature, the senses, the universal form, complete independence, and the moving and non-moving beings appear subsequently as his opulences. So this is the position of Mahavishnu. Describing the incarnations and their symptoms, the Laghu Bhagavatamrita has stated that when Lord Krishna descends to conduct the creative efforts of the material manifestation, he is an avatar or incarnation. The two categories of avatars are empowered devotees and Tad Ekatma Rupa, the Lord himself. An example of Tad Ekatma Rupa is Shesha, and an example of devotee is Vasudeva, the father of Lord Krishna. Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan has commented that the material cosmic manifestation is a partial kingdom of God, where God must sometimes come to execute a specific function. The plenary portions of the Lord through whom Lord Krishna executes such actions is called Mahavishnu, who is the primal beginning of all incarnations. Inexperienced observers presume that the material energy provides both the cause and the elements of the cosmic manifestation, and that the living entities are the enjoyers of material nature. So we think that material energy is the cause, and from material energy comes the elements, but no. Everything comes from Krishna through Mahavishnu. But the devotees of the Bhagavad school, which has scrutinizingly examined the entire situation, can understand that material nature can independently be neither the supplier of the material elements nor the cause of the material manifestation. Material nature gets the power to supply the material elements from the glands of the Supreme Purusha, Mahavishnu. And when empowered by him, she is called the cause of the material manifestation. Only when she is empowered by Krishna. Both features of material nature, as a cause of the material creation and as a source of its elements, exist due to the glands of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The various expansions of the Supreme Lord who act to empower the material energy are known as plenary expansions or incarnations. As illustrated by the examples of many flames lit from one flame, all these plenary expansions and incarnations are as good as Vishnu himself, or they also all called Vishnu Tattvas. They're in the same Vishnu category. Nevertheless, because of their activities in controlling Maya, sometimes they're known as Mayika, or having a relationship with Maya. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. But otherwise, they don't come under the control of Maya. So I guess I can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments? Okay, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.